Welcome to our Risk Management Construction Management series. Now that we've mastered the basics of the risk management plan, let's look at best practices for addressing risks. For each risk, we want to identify a person responsible for the plan. As we know in project management, if there is no person responsible for it, it will not get done. We want to record the dates, including the date the plan is first formulated, as well as the date that it is completed. At every project management meeting, whether there is progress or not, the plans should be reviewed and updated. To create the plan, we should first consider our options. We can accept the risk, acknowledge that it may happen, and just leave it at that, or we can build a contingency plan if the risk does happen, but really at this point take no action. This is a viable alternative if the mitigation plans are costly and require significant resources. We can develop plans to mitigate the risk, reduce the likelihood or probability of the risk happening, or reduce the impact that that risk is going to have on the project, or try to eliminate the impact altogether. We can transfer the risk to another company. An insurer is accustomed to taking on risk. We can transfer also to other companies within our project, such as subcontractors or the client, suppliers, fabricators. We can avoid risk and eliminate the problem completely by removing clauses from the contracts or avoiding a particular supplier, subcontractor, or even client. Let's take a look at some examples. Let's say our risk is severe weather situations out of the ordinary that cause significant delays to the contract. We plan to speed up the schedule, mitigate the impact, minimize it, by hiring more labor. The advantage is the schedule will be accelerated. We expect 3 weeks. The drawback is that per person work productivity is lower and there are some extra costs. Of course, we're not satisfied with just one strategy. We haven't hired all of our subcontractors yet, so we've decided to see if we could transfer some of the penalties for our being late on delivery to some of the subcontractors. The advantage of this is the delays are much less likely, as the subcontractors will accelerate their own work. The disadvantage is that the subcontractors that are willing to work for us will cost more as they are taking on the risk. Now that we have more than one strategy, we rank them in order of preference. This spreadsheet is a classic threat response development tool. A more sophisticated tool, or a more sophisticated way of creating response plans, is to use a software tool such as RiskMP. And I'm going to go through using the wizard to develop a response plan here. Let's look at a scenario where we're concerned about water seepage. We're building an elevator shaft and we're going to be doing a concrete pour. Again, the weather has been uncooperative. We've decided on the very inexpensive strategy of just accepting the risk of severe weather, and our action plan is to determine what the impact of the rework will be on the schedule and other trades, but we are going to accept it and wait until it happens. Now, the advantages to this plan is that there are no immediate costs or immediate work that's incurred. The disadvantage, on the other side, is that the rework is an additional expense. It can also create a significant delay in the schedule, which creates other costs. Planning for rework will reduce some of the cost and schedule impact, but only slightly. As always, every plan needs an owner, and we assign one, a due date, and of course, progress needs to be monitored if we expect to get results. If we had an active plan, ordering equipment, extra supplies, hiring extra labor, these would come with a cost, which we would enter here. Our passive strategy to do nothing, of course, has no immediate costs. Similarly, this passive strategy does not impact the risk cost significantly. Perhaps by ordering early or planning for the possibility, we can have maybe a 10% impact on the whole cost of the risk, cost of the rework. And so this is what we would enter here, either the 10% or the actual post-response expectation of what that risk is going to cost. The next and very important step is to share this information with the team. This is an example of a very well-drafted response plan. It contains the pertinent task information, the risk information itself, and what our expected cost of it is, and also our plan to address the risk, an owner, and a date where this plan was formulated, and a date when we expect this to be completed. For each risk, we plan a response. We decide which plans are preferable, we rank them, and we decide which ones will be carried out. Using a software tool to organize and catalog all of these various and sundry plans makes the filtering, prioritizing, and presentations easier. It simplifies the decision-making process. Response plans and progress should be reviewed and updated at every project management meeting. To manage risk, we execute the response plans, evaluate the results, document the results for future projects, plan, execute, evaluate, and repeat this cycle. In summary, we consider a variety of strategies: accepting the risk, mitigating the risk, transferring the risk, avoiding the risk. We analyze the costs and impact of each of the strategies that we develop. We assign the responsibility of that response plan to an owner. We document the results. We monitor the progress, reevaluate, and repeat the cycle. Thank you for participating in this session of our Risk Management Construction Management series. Please join us in future sessions where we will examine more of these steps in detail and other ideas and best practices in construction management. For more information, visit our website at riskmp.com.